Long before Squid Game became a global obsession, the dystopian world of masked guards, twisted childhood games, and desperate contestants clawing for survival, its roots were quietly growing in the streets of Seoul. But the inspiration wasn't born in a Netflix boardroom or pulled from the pages of a comic book. It came from real pain, from poverty, from debt. To understand the roots of Squid Game, you have to understand South Korea's brutal class divide. In recent decades, the country exploded into one of Asia's biggest economies, but that came with consequences, especially for its working class. South Korea has one of the highest household debt ratios in the world. College students graduate with loans they can't repay. Middle-aged men lose jobs and spiral into poverty. Credit card debt, suicide rates, and housing prices skyrocket. In fact, just like in the show, there have been real cases of people entering high-risk game shows, dangerous labor schemes, and even scam cults just for a chance to make money. Sound familiar? That's because Squid Game isn't just fiction, it's a metaphor for real life. Childhood games with a deadly twist. Hwang said he chose old Korean children's games, like Red Light, Green Light, or the titular Squid Game, as a way to show how innocent things can become horrifying under pressure. When we were kids, we played for fun, he explained. Now, adults play the same games for survival. And this wasn't just dramatic license. In 2004, a horrifying case surfaced in South Korea. A man running an illegal gambling den where debt-ridden participants were forced to endure violence, beatings, and humiliation when they couldn't pay back what they owed. There were no pink-suited guards, no giant piggy bank hanging from the ceiling. But the desperation, the helplessness, the feeling that you're nothing but a number in a brutal system, that was all too real. The reality TV trap. Believe it or not, the idea of making entertainment out of people's desperation isn't confined to fiction. In Japan and South Korea, there have been reality shows that eerily resemble Squid Game, where contestants drowning in debt live in isolated rooms and compete for cash. One infamous Japanese show, Denpa Shonen, A Life in Prizes, forced a man to live naked in an apartment, surviving only on items he won from magazine contests. He was trapped there for over a year. The world watched and laughed. That man later admitted he suffered psychological trauma for years after. Capitalism, with a body count. Critics and fans alike have praised Squid Game for its brutal honesty, because beneath the pink jumpsuits and creepy masks, the show is a direct attack on unchecked capitalism. It asks one haunting question. If you were desperate enough, how far would you go? That's not a made-up scenario. People in real life sell their organs to repay debt, get trapped in labor scams abroad, take out loans from predatory lenders, then spiral into homelessness or suicide. And not just in South Korea. In the Philippines, India, the US, everywhere you look, you'll find versions of the Squid Game system. One that pushes people to the edge, then offers them one impossible gamble to climb out. What if the game is already happening? Here's the most disturbing part. Squid Game hit a nerve, not because it was outrageous, but because it was believable. You didn't need to be Korean to understand that soul-crushing feeling of watching your bills stack up, while the rich get richer. You didn't need to wear a green tracksuit to know what it's like to feel expendable. The series became a mirror, and for millions it reflected something terrifying. The game is already happening. The only difference? In real life, there are no rules, no final round, no masked mastermind you can take down. Just an invisible system. And you're already playing. Full circle. When Squid Game finally aired in 2021, after more than a decade in limbo, it wasn't just a hit. It was a global eruption. People binge-watched it in over 90 countries. Memes exploded, costumes flew off shelves. And behind it all was Hwang Dong-hyuk, a man who had once sold his laptop to survive, now the creator of the most watched Netflix series of all time. But unlike the show, he didn't win by playing the game. He won by exposing it.
And maybe that's the real message behind Squid Game.
When the system is designed for you to fail, sometimes telling the truth is the most dangerous and powerful move you can make.